Sometimes on Mondays, there's not a lot to talk about. Well, this Monday, we got a lot to talk about. You talk about insider buys, right? There's some small ones like Lily, and there's some medium ones. No one cares about insider sales. But we got a whopper of an insider buy in Tesla by you know who. You know what the stock's doing. We're going to cover that. Fed. Fed watchers. Some of the big banks are saying sell the news. Sell the news? What's just buy it afterwards then, right? In this market, earnings not much this week. Special guest Danny Kirsch, Piper Sandler. As I said, we'll talk to him. It's a Monday. We're busy. Pre-market prep starts right now.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I like Jay Rice. A billion Musk purchase moves market cap 100 billion, up 14 handle 69.59. Folks, we're on the December contract, the last contract of the year, the futures. That means quad witch on Friday. Let's take some notes on that, folks. The buck down 16 cents, 98.99. TLT giving a little back, but it's had a nice rally, down 19 cents, 89.76. Crude up a tad, USO 73.94. GLD and SLV, they're not moving. They're very quiet today. Little consolidation. And Bitcoin, well, it's been up. Ooh, getting back to that 50% retracement. What do you know? It got there. It's pulling back $1,850, $115,400. Let's bring in Triple D here. And Triple D, we got a couple floor. I'm going to bring a couple floor things in here. First of all, Triple D is in a fast market. And what that means is like when everything's going on at the Merc, at the CME, when they didn't know where the price was in the S&Ps, they used to just put, instead of the last 5 prices, they would put fast. And then whatever the guy.
The algos were too fast for the humans, so they just put fast.
Exactly. And Dennis, you got a big day today.
Yeah, I got lots going on here. Actually heading to Toronto. Going to go see the boys over there. JC Perret, Spencer Israel, Straza in Toronto. So I'm going to be down there. Hey, boys, if you guys are listening, we'll see you guys this afternoon. But we got a big morning here, too, because we've got some shows for you. We've got some stocks for you. We've got some insider purchases for you. Elon Musk. What's up, Brentster? Bring him in. How was the weekend? He's man in the news desk always. How was your weekend?
My weekend was chill. It was a nice, relaxing weekend. Got some rest. Ready for a big week here on Wall Street. How was your guys' weekend?
It was good. Just a little bit of hockey. I know it's hockey season's already starting here. The girls are already on the ice there, and we're just enjoying the nice little last bit of summer here. 75 degrees all weekend. Loving that because I know what's coming. Another month and a half, the snow starts coming here and doesn't stop for 6 months. So I know. I'm trying not to think about it.
Keep that
Nasty
to yourself.
Word. Nasty.
Joel with a big U of M win over the Chippewas.
Yeah, U of M win. You also had a Lions win.
Blowout. Safe to say that.
Blowout. You also Dana and Lisa went to see Jimmy Fallon at the Opera House, and Aiden Hutchinson showed up. They taped a live show, so they got to do that. Cool. Last outdoor swim meet of the year yesterday, and I got beat by a bunch of 25-year-olds. I'm kind of bummed about that, but
not the worst thing.
6'4". I've never dove in the water and be 2 body lengths behind. I mean, these guys were just powerful. But look, no sports.
Okay,
no for an 80-year-old though. No sports. Not going to talk the Lions' big victory here. They're back, baby. We're back. It was the Bears, but we're back.
It was the Bears.
It was the Bears, but we're back.
I think that Green Bay is just going to be like awesome this season.
I think so too.
I'm not.
They only ever have a couple off seasons and then they get awesome again. Must
That's a
be
good
nice
point.
to cheer for a franchise that's perpetually awesome, isn't it? Must be nice. I don't know what
All right,
that's all about. Sorry.
I'm looking at the Tesla Elon Musk Form 4 filing. He bought all the shares on Friday. That's September 12th. He bought shares ranging from a tranche of 17,000 shares all the way up to a tranche over 300,000 shares. In total, he bought about 2.6 million shares, around $1 billion in value. Elon Musk, now the owner of 413.36 million shares of Tesla. 413 million shares. And it was kind of interesting. I liked how you were thinking about it earlier when we were doing the pre-show, Dennis. You were asking Joel, what was the total volume for Tesla on Friday?
Yeah, just seeing if
And we can think of a proportion of the insider transaction by Elon Musk on Friday as a percentage of the total volume in one of the most widely traded stocks on Wall Street on Friday.
Yeah, and Tesla trades so many shares over 100 million that it's not huge, but it's something. You know, it was around just under 2% of the volume from Friday. So, which isn't
Wow.
nothing, but definitely something. I mean, what does he know? I mean, this is what everybody's probably going to be asking, because here's a person who owns already 400 million shares. Usually CEOs are selling, like Jensen Huang's selling, because they have their life to live. But I guess, Tesla Musk doesn't spend that much money anyways of his wealth. But I mean, he's buying more up here. Like the stock just ran $40, and I guess, he was in part of that a little bit earlier from Friday, so he didn't buy. So what does he know? Is he just trying to give it a vote of confidence? Is that it? Because obviously, we know the car sales haven't been great. The core business hasn't been great, but he's cooking up a lot of stuff over there. So what does he know? Did they have a breakthrough? Do they have something? Those are all the questions that are going to be asked here, because this is catching everybody off guard. Nobody expected this. His first insider purchase since 2020, and the stock is up over $100 in the last, not including today's run, in the last month and a half, and now he's buying. So it begs the question, is Robotaxi, did they get a breakthrough FSD? Did they get a breakthrough on Optimus? Did something happen? I'm not saying, maybe it just wants to give the stock a vote of confidence. It's for him, $1 billion is nothing. So maybe, and again, like Jay Spinner is saying here, is the stock's up more. He's going to make more in market cap probably than, what he paid for those shares. So, but wow, I mean, this is now breakthrough city. Now we start thinking about all-time highs, which are already up at 488. So we're not there. But I think you start to think about that, because you get Musk coming in. It's the biggest vote of confidence ever. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually continues to go up. I don't think this can be one that just rolls over and dies here. That's what I'm saying. I would not want to be short Tesla. And I'm long Tesla in my long-term account.
Brent, can you just give us when and how he did this?
So he bought all the shares on Friday, and it was in the open. As far as I can find in the filing, it was in the open market. This was not related to any kind of like 10b5-1 trading plan. He wanted to do this. He went out in the open market and he did it all on Friday.
Yeah, the volume, and Dennis mentioned the volume. It went from 103 million to 168 million Thursday to Friday. But this kind of I'm just gonna have to harken back to the floor a little bit, and I'll say Paul H. Was a clerk for Corp, and he had a huge S&P trader, and this is back when the S&Ps, 1,000 lot. This was 1,000. And he would go sell 1,000. This is sell 1,000. This would be a buy 1,000. He would go sell 1,000 at the market, boom, market. And then he would do this and hurt it and pound it. So that means, NJD, he would just offer it, sell a couple hundred, offer it, sell it. He just wanted to hurt the market, right? I think this is the opposite. He said, buy me these shares. I don't care about, just buy them. Lift offers, offer. And that's the result. The stock, I will give you the pre-market high. Pre-market high comes in at 430 436. It's hit 430.30 a couple times. That's, I'll give that a half-star resistance. Next monthly high, if you're looking for more, is 439.74.
To Bora's question, he did sell a pile of stock when he bought Twitter. He needed to do that because obviously he needed to raise money for the Twitter purchase there. That's a couple years ago here now. So I would just say, like, now you're looking and says maybe he wants to be rebuying his shares, like that he sold. He's got a little bit extra cash here. He's coming in. He wants more exposure. He obviously believes very much in his company. I mean, he hasn't had. When's the last time Elon Musk sold shares, Brad? There's a question for you too. I don't know if you can find that quickly, but maybe you can dig for us here. I believe it was the Twitter purchase, though. And Elon Musk has never been one that has been actively selling his shares. He has always been kind of a hodler. Like we see a filing from Jensen Huang and NVIDIA, I feel like every other week, always knowing those plans, because they have the planned sales, but because they have expenses, they have lives to live. A lot of these CEOs, we know, like Zuckerberg, we know Bezos, live very luxurious lives. Musk doesn't do that, but he does spend money on stuff like Twitter. So lots to think about, lots to chew on. I'm going to say it again. It's a huge vote of confidence. The stock is already running. The technical setup, well, if he was a technical trader, it was smart too, because stock was breaking out on Thursday, continued to break out Friday, and this just tacks on. So he timed this buy very well, because you're catching people short and they're getting punished for it here. So I think, honestly, people don't want to hear this if you're a Tesla bear, but dips probably to be bought in the stock. So it's starting to look good here again, even though the fundamentals of the core business are not going that great. There's so many things that are cooking. It's the ultimate story stock. Every time you get, a new city going to get robotaxi, it's going to get a lift off that too. So you just think about the potential for headlines, like positive headlines from this. And there's a pile of them. There's a pile of headline potential here. And I think that's why I'm going to stay long in my long-term account.
When was do you guys remember when the Twitter deal was?
I'm going to say 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Okay, yeah.
Years fly by now. When you get old, they just fly by.
I hear it. He was selling millions of shares in 2022, like throughout most of 2022.
That's got to be it.
He was selling shares.
Did he sell any shares? Do we know in 23 or 24?
He did not. He did not.
He stopped.
He did not. Yep, he did not.
Yeah. Wow. I nobody had this on their bingo card. So this is a game changer. That's what I'm going to say. And I think the stock can go higher.
I think this is what shareholders might have been looking for. Just, it's plain and simple as that. A little vote of confidence.
And that's what he's given it. He's probably ticked off hearing people saying, well, the car sales are no good and the stock's overvalued. He's like, how much I believe in the stock? Here's how much I believe in the stock. I'm not buying another $1 billion.
$1 billion.
This is the insider of insiders of Tesla. Nobody knows more than what's going on with Tesla than Elon Musk. So huge vote of confidence.
Have you ever seen a bigger insider buy?
$1 billion
worth?
Yeah.
I mean, I
They're
can't
usually
can't
not
remember.
that big because nobody's got the kind of money to throw around.
I mean,
so there's
in
a great
relation
point
to
too
how
here,
much,
Joel.
Yeah.
That might be one of the biggest insider buys in history.
Yeah, it has to be. But
I
guess if you break it down like on a percentage of his holding basis, it's
nothing, because he's got 411 million shares. He's just so rich. But wow. Jay Rice saying there's a big call buyer on Tesla. I have no idea. I didn't know this, but
no one buys puts
funny,
anymore, so they have to buy.
When you see huge call buyers a day or two before this. So, but again, there was lots of catalysts. There's been lots of catalysts. So it's hard to call out every call buyer you see, but it's always interesting, to say the least. So that's where we're at. I mean, I think I'm not selling any shares in dips. Probably going to be trading it from the long side on dips. I think stock goes higher.
All right, 15 minutes brought to you by Tesla.
Oh, this is the story of the day. And just to continue that, the retail theme here this morning is ignited as well. If you're looking through Open Door, making new highs, you just run through all these retail darling names. I mean, this is an S&P that's up 0.24%. This has got to be one of the best 0.24% days I've ever seen. There are stocks up all over the place. Obviously, we already covered Tesla, but Apple's up 1.1%. Google's up 1.3%. Amazon's up 1.1%. I'd be careful chasing Amazon here because both of those components are huge components in the XLY. And sometimes when you get huge strength in Tesla, you get weakness in Amazon. So right now they're just buying everything, but I would not be surprised if we see a rollover in Amazon shares here. I'm still going to stay long in my long-term account, but I think from a trading perspective here, I'd be very cautious chasing the Amazon rally here this morning.
Let's see here. Amazon's busting. Let's just do a quick technical here. Busting out to a new, is it? No, not quite a new all-time high here. It's kind of
showing weakness the last couple of days.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Tesla strength, Amazon weakness. Don't discount those ETF effects. We talk about that in the STN room all the time. 22% of the XLY is Amazon. I think it's 19 or 20 is Tesla. So, the easiest thing to keep the XLY not up $1 bazillion is to take a little bit of weakness in Amazon here. So I think ETF effects will be a negative for Amazon here today. Not in play here yet because we're not even open, but keep that in mind. It would not surprise me in the least if Amazon gives gains back.
I got good levels for you here. I don't know about that 8 o'clock or whatever that print over 230, 250 was. I don't know if that was from late last night. But you're not at yesterday's. You're right at yesterday's high, or which would be Friday, 230.79. Your 2-day high is 31.54, 31.53. The reason I like that is because that's about halfway back of this little move, little check back here. You found support at the 50-day, and now you're getting a check back. You're getting half of this move back. So anybody that kind of like, oh, I should have sold it at an all-time high, well, you're back in the 230 handle for Amazon.
So also, what's rallying this morning? We talked about all those retail darlings that are rallying, but China again, and you wanted to point this out, Joel. Alibaba just continues to march. I might have had the best Alibaba time purchase,
I know,
like of all my stocks, because we bought this in the STN room at $130. I know it was there for like a split second. I paid $130.56. I post all those trades in the STN room. And I bought that in the long-term account. Why did I buy it? Because stock went from 120 to almost 140 and then peeled back. And I'm like, you know what? I think momentum is here and this is a dip to be bought. And obviously, I did buy the dip at 130.56. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, 6 days later with counting today. And the stock is up almost 30 points from where I just bought it. I'm still long. I'm like, I didn't think I was going to get 30 points in 6 days. Something to think about, though. But I guess the streak, like you say, it's an 8-day winning streak. Don't they always go 9 from Ferris Bueller? 9 times. 9. I think Ferris Bueller has set that. Once you get 8 days in the stock market of gains, usually you get the 9th because of Ferris Bueller's day off. Is 9 times absent. 9 times, 9 times. You guys know. You older people know what I'm talking about with the Ferris Bueller's day off quotes.
Isn't there
technical?
Isn't there is it a Beatles song where they throw number 9?
Love Potion number 9?
Revolution number 9? Joel?
Revolution number 9. There's Love Potion number 9 too. There's just a lot of 9s. I don't know who sings that.
Nice, Brent.
Joel, you get into that psychedelic Beatles stuff, man.
I don't remember. Baba here, of course, it traded over 160 in the pre-market, so you know that they're discounting over there where it traded. Man, there's not much here on the monthlies. Give you a next monthly high 170.29, but I've been waiting forever to do this, and I think now is the most appropriate time to do this because you're looking at this stock, and this is where, man, remember when she just turned on him? He turned on Baba. He turned on Jack Ma. He was like, no ant for you. No nothing. And then he disappeared. Well, I have been waiting to draw a 50% retracement in here forever. And I'm going to do this. This is
You're going to get it?
What?
Let's see it. Let's see. I don't think we're there.
Oh, because you make me.
Oh my gosh. Turn them back to white.
Yeah.
Turn it back to white.
We'll talk about this when you're in the car today, Dennis.
Yeah, we might go back to white shirts.
Okay.
Now we can't see the stuff. There, now I see it. What is that number for the 50% retracement? That's where I'm going to sell.
I got to do it again because I wasn't even close. I'll do it. I'll get it right this time.
Okay,
Wow,
get it right.
I stuck in one white chart, and then he didn't say too much, and now
I'm
gonna do
okay with the white.
188.
Ooh, another 28 bucks. I like another 28 bucks. I don't think it's going straight there. It's going to be some hiccups along the way, and it is a China stock. But man, momentum is. Do you see my Baidu too? You see my Baidu? The Denny long-term portfolio is starting to light up. The trading account always does pretty good, but the long-term portfolio has been in the doldrums.
Oh,
I tell you, it's starting to pick it up.
This is not even getting going yet.
I know. And boom, 91 to 115 in like 7-8 trading days here. And look, it's got some room. And you know what? You look at valuation on these things. If these things ever decided to like start going into multiple expansion, Baba and Baidu are still dirt cheap. Let's just go look right now after these big moves. And Baba just ran up like 30% in like a week and a half. Baba's PE is still only 17. Baidu PE, this is a joke, folks. Let's go look at the Baidu PE. BIDU PE is 10. It's 10 times earnings. They're in FSD, they're in AI, they're in everything, Baidu. But you know what? They're China. Nobody likes China. Oh, they're all of a sudden starting to like China. Oh, they're all of a sudden starting to think about, oh, maybe I should get in some China. Not bad. Pinduoduo, all these China stocks are dirt cheap.
Yeah, I wish I could. I can't name the exact date that I have Ryan Craver coming on PMP, but I did look at Twitter a little bit over this weekend, just when I was bored. And he said something. Oh man, he tweets a lot. Temu, Pinduo. Here, maybe I can. Let me see if I can move this over. So if you guys know how good Ryan is with these stocks.
Retail
Temu,
stocks.
PDD plots a comeback. And this is lingering declines. Temu U.S. sales drop continue even after it spends on. So you know what?
Advertising gains.
We'll see. We'll see if it finally.
So
kicks
he's
in.
still not. Is he a fan now of Pinduoduo with Temu, or no? When's Ryan coming on? Next.
I'll have to take a look here.
All right, we'll get Ryan back.
Tuesday. Next Tuesday, not tomorrow.
A week away.
Yep, a week away.
He's our retail analyst, Ryan Craver. He does a great job over there. We talked to him. We'll talk to him. We'll see what's happening over there and get those China retail names and see if he's on board with this. Because if Ryan's a believer, I may buy more of these shares on dips. Buy on dips, though. Remember, always wait. You get a dip. You never usually have to chase, although sometimes in this market you have, and I don't know, Tesla might have to chase. But there's a lot of stocks you usually get a dip.
All right.
And continuing on with the China talk, NVIDIA is not having a great day. And because Tesla's having such a great day, ETF effects, they got to knock something down, right, Joel? So let's knock down Microsoft, Meta, and NVIDIA here. NVIDIA is trading down 1.12%. Headline me, Brentster. You got the headline? I can grab it if you don't. But China says preliminary probe finds NVIDIA violated anti-monopoly law. Bloomberg reporting this morning. So issues with China probing NVIDIA and saying they violated some anti-monopoly law over there.
It was related to the, I think, 2020 or 2022 NVIDIA purchase of Mellanox. Do you remember that, Triple D? When they bought that company, Mellanox? I think it was
I remember they
MLNX.
bought it, but I don't remember the details. No, so they don't like that.
That was the allegations by China.
So NVIDIA having a rough morning. AMD moving the opposite direction. Piper, just while we're talking AMD and NVIDIA, because they both obviously usually move together. You're going to see AMD going the opposite direction. We got positive commentary coming from Piper. They're looking for upside into 2H25 around GPU commentary. That's the headline there. It's Harsh Kumar putting his overweight 190 price target on AMD. I'm long both these stocks. Obviously long AI stocks. I mean, let's talk AI just for a second, because even though, stock valuations are stretched, and even though we've got, concerns that, maybe, these AI stocks have gone too far, we got interest rates going down, and we have Gene Munster commentary, who we haven't had on the show in a long time. We should get Gene back. Friday, I saw him, I believe, on CNBC commenting, and I don't remember what it was, but he was talking, might have been even Thursday. And he was talking about the Oracle report, and he was saying, with the growth that Oracle is showing, it makes me question my analysis on whether we're in the third inning for AI. He says we may only be in the first inning. That's what he said. And I was like, you know what? It's a great point, man. Because we keep thinking, oh, some people think the AI is in the 8th inning. Nah, not even close. So you got to even recognize the world you're in 5 years. It's going to be AI everywhere. So are we in the first inning? I think so too. I think I'm with you, Gene. I think we might be in the first inning here too. There's going to be so much cool AI stuff coming. It's going to change the world. I think you just got to stay invested in these stocks.
You caught me on the drink of water there. Hey, Oracle, Dennis, I saw you nibbled in Oracle a little bit here on the pullback.
I did.
Yeah.
I bought the Oracle dip because I was analyzing it, and I bought the Oracle dip on Friday because I just think with that growth projections, I mean, yes, it's trading 40 times earnings right now, which shows expensive, but if they actually do even get anywhere as close to their projections, the stock is going to be dirt cheap when you're looking out 5 years. I don't know if they can hit those numbers, but you can't bet against Larry Ellison ever. So I owned Oracle in my long-term account for the better part of 20 years. I sold it, should have never sold it. And now, I'm buying it higher here, but I just don't want to be out of the stock. It's now grouped with the AI stocks that move the entire AI sector. The growth potential here, obviously, is a lot more than any of us knew. I do not see it filling this gap. If it does fill this gap, I will buy more. People always, look at gap fills, but with that growth, I think eventually buyers are going to emerge, and they're already starting today. So yes, I took a long-term position in Oracle on Friday.
Yep, and Oracle. These are always the tough moves. When you get these gaps up, gap up. I don't know, is it ever? At this point, you think this is never coming back down to the 50-day moving average. I'm never going to get it there. And then, sometimes different circumstances help them, but getting a little pop today. We had huge buy imbalance, really good buy imbalances going into the print. And I think of the day of the print we had buy, it might have flipped to sell the other day. We'll have to keep an eye on that just for a tracker on it. But right now, Oracle trading up 298. If there's always 50% retracements, perhaps on the upside here. You went, wow, that was crazy. You got to 340. Let's call it 340. Let's just call it a 60-point move, 30 points, tacking this, takes it back to 321. But 300 psychological level for right now.
Yeah, and it's a big number, and it was a big move. But the reason I'm looking, what's the 50% retracement of the move from gap day up? So we gapped up, Joel, just from 232. The high of that gap is 243, and then obviously went to 345, so 100 points. So I guess it's $50 off. I mean, we got to be dang close to the 50% retracement of that move right here. But bring that chart up, make it look like that. But it looks like just a quick math. I bet that 292 is darn close.
Boom. Let's move.
I'm doing the whole gap.
Yeah, look at you. We don't need no stinking charts. Look at that.
We don't need no stinking tools. We just do our air math here in our head. I got an A+ in a lot of math grades when I was younger here, so I can do a little bit of math.
All right. Continuing to move up here in the S&P.
What was the number?
Actually, I did the 50% retracement of the bounce.
I want the 50% retracement of the gap, including the gap. So
including
take it
the
from
gap.
The high.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're mad. I wanted to move on.
I think it's close. Do it.
Oh, yeah. Boy, oh boy,
almost right on.
You are on
what is
fire.
That low?
Yeah, you're on fire. 291, 292. Boy.
I think it bounced right where it needed to bounce.
Oh boy. So that's a good level.
Buyer of Oracle 292.
Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on that. I think a lot depends on the market, on the dynamics.
Depends on the market. Everything depends on the macros and stuff. But we're going down the rates. We haven't even got to Fed speak here. We have 3 minutes to talk Fed speaks. We get Empire State Manufacturing here. I don't think anybody cares. We're not even going to cover it. Let CNBC cover that with their content. We're going to cover the Fed, talk a little bit for the next 3 minutes here because rates are going down this week. For real. They're going down. Some people think, what's the odds of 10%? Brent, there's a 10% chance it's going to be a 50. I'm saying it's 0. It's going to be 100% chance 25. I'm calling it now. 100%. Okay. Nothing's 100%. I'm calling it 25, 100%.
You want to take a look at the Fed? You want to take a look at the Fed Watch tool together?
Yeah, bring it
real
up
quick?
because it's
Okay,
part of
give
the
me 1 second.
discussion. This is more
Okay.
reason why be bearish stocks now. I mean, everybody wants to be bearish stocks, but why? Why now? Why right now? Why when the S&Ps are making new highs? Why when we have wicked rotation bring us up? Why when the Qs are making new highs? Why when the IWM is perking up and starting to show life? Why when the Fed is going to actually start cutting interest rates? Why be bearish stocks now?
Here's your September. We
Okay.
have a 4% chance of a 50-point basis cut. Here's your October. You have a 78% chance of a 50-point
Yeah, so
basis
the
cut.
25 and the 25.
Here's your December. You have a 75% chance of a 325, let's call it 325 basis rate cut by the December meeting, which is December 10th.
The market has spoken. 25, 25, 25. I agree with the market here. I think that's what's happening. 25, 25, 25. So we've got the Fed. So when you put all that together and you put the pieces of the puzzle together, and as a trader, that's all you're doing is putting pieces of the puzzle together. You're like, oh, this is a nice piece. This looks like this. And sometimes you get ugly pieces, and that makes you a little bit nervous. But right now, there's a lot of pretty pieces out there. Hard to bet against. You got Musk coming in and buying Tesla stock in the open market, billion shares here. I mean, I don't know what other positive headlines coming next, but I tell you, if you're sitting here short in this market saying irrational exuberance, I think you might be early.
Quad Witch coming up. I'll get two things. Quad Witch is coming up on Friday, and the timing of it. And I'm not even going to write the article this year. You know how I always write Sal Rosh Hashanah and Ba Yom Kippur? I'm not even going to write it this year because no one sells. There's no selling going on.
There's no sell button. I took the sell button off my computer. I can't even see it there. It's out there. I don't see it on my keyboard. Don't see the sell button on my keyboard anymore.
Can you reprogram your keyboard so every time you hit us, if you had one,
if you hit sell, you just buy more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It would have been a good key. That would have been good to do a number of years ago there.
It just shocks you.
Selling, you just buy more. It shocks.
Yeah. Why would you accept? Why would you even consider that?
Shock collar. You think it was that?
How dare you?
We got one of those for BB. We had to get one of those.
Did you?
She was trying to sell
BB.
stocks.
What was BB doing wrong?
She don't ride a bike around her. Okay.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't like bikers.
And she doesn't like garbage trucks. I mean,
who does? I mean, come on.
So
sorry.
Really does.
Sorry.
It's much better. I don't have the heart to do it because I just think I'll be electrocute her. But if you see a garbage truck a half mile away or a little bit closer than that before she could hear it, you have to make her sit and sit and sit and sit and sit and then give her a treat. And then she still barks at the garbage truck. But anyways, I don't know how we got talking about shot collars.
We got $7 here now. $2.99.
Yep.
Retracement. That's Kenny Glick talking there too with his VWAP. The VWAP be close to that too. 50% retracement VWAP, kind of the same thing.
What else do you need?
Contrarian buying signals right there, folks.
Is Kenny going to be there today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We asked him that last week, actually.
That's right. I did.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So, okay, we're waiting for a guest. Danny Kirsch supposed to be coming on here, can talk some stocks. But before that, we got other stocks to talk about here. And we got some ratings we could get to, but we've also got a lot of Momo names moving here. Ratings are quiet here this morning over the weekend. One was UNP. Not that anybody cares about UNP, but interesting, because it's been really beat up here. And interesting that it's getting an upgrade now. So I like the contrarian one. Citigroup upgrading UNP to buy from price target, raising it up to 251. I don't have any color on this note. Usually I click on Street Insider, give us some color, but I don't see any color here. So I'm just going to get color from my technical analyst, Joel Elconin, as UNP trades higher. Is this a buy opportunity or are we done with the rails?
UNP. Okay. Traded up to 2. This has not been participating any way whatsoever in the recent rally. I mean, I called, let's hold this area, 217. The last three highs, 216, 217. This is one of the charts where you don't want to look left at all. You want to look right. You want to see it open up 217, hold 217 bid, and just keep on going. You don't want to see the leakage off the open and then things open up. You're nowhere near the 50-day. Well, no, I wasn't say nowhere near the 50-day up, closer to 225 for UNP. I forgot what was that whole saga. UNP and
Who
NS.
they end up buying, Brentster? What did they end up buying? Does NSC, was it UNP and NSC? I'm getting all confused. I don't remember who bought who now.
I know.
Let me look. Yeah. There was too much chatter on
all
that
rails,
news.
and then Warren Buffett put to sleep because Warren Buffett was supposed to come buy a rail, and he put all that to sleep. And then CSX got dinged on that hard because they thought they was going to come in and buy CSX, and he said, "No, I'm not buying any rails." NSC did get bought, didn't they? Like
it was NSC. It was UNP and NSC. Yes.
Yeah, UNP and NSC. And what's the ratio there? I should be risk arbing that. Although that's not the risk arbitrage trades have been tough here. Like some of them are working that well because they're worried about these railroad mergers going through. See if you can find me. Dig for that in the background here. Dig for that ratio here. We're still waiting for a guest. We haven't missed.
Yeah, Danny is. He's usually pretty prompt.
Maybe send him an email, Joel, in the background. If
I just did.
Make sure. Okay, Joel's so he reads my mind. Joel's so smart, man. He just reads my mind. We did have one earnings stock. If you want to talk the one earnings stock that we did have, it's Haynes Celestial Group. And I don't know if anybody cares, but we are literally in an earnings week where there's like 10 companies.
Nothing.
There's nothing. You're in the lightest earnings week of the year, pretty much here right now of the quarter. Haynes Celestials reported they lost 2 cents, supposed to lose 3 cents, 363 million versus 374 million. I don't know if anybody cares about Haynes Celestial whatsoever. The only thing, we're in this relentless buy the dip market here. Are they going to buy the dip in Haynes Celestial? I'll tell you, I don't care about Haynes Celestial. I think the company could potentially be in trouble, but that turns retail on when you get companies in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you had a spike over 290 in this. Is that for real? When was that? Yeah, this morning. Holy mackerel. This thing went to 294 on some like 1 million shares traded at 515. Holy mackerel. What a gift. Now you're in yesterday's range. I that's what I'm seeing here. This is
was that before the report?
Is this? Let me see.
That was before the report. What time was that?
That
people that's stupid. What time was those trades?
Those were at 5:15 this morning on September.
Somebody's
15th.
paying up like 25-30% for Haynes Celestial ahead of the report.
As far as I see, the report was at 7 a.m.
Holy people are stupid. Okay, stop. Full stop. Danny Kirsch going to be on here in a second. Full stop. If you're going out and paying 30% premiums for Haynes Celestial ahead of the report, stop trading. Don't ever trade again. Just give it up. Close your brokerage account and go away because you're too stupid to trade.
Oh, that's great.
Sorry. If somebody's in the chat that bought Haynes Celestial up at $2.85, $2.85,
$2.90,
$2.90. If you're paying up 35% for a stock ahead of an earnings report, you are doing everything wrong. Stock trading is not for you. If you're shorting to them, you're a genius. But I'm not up at 5 a.m. I have young kids. I can't get up that early anymore. But I tell you, I would have been shorting the hell out of that at 285, 290, because what an edge they gave you. And they missed, and it's down. Instantaneous money. There is just a lot of dumb money running rampant in a lot of things right now. Let's go get Danny. Let's see what he thinks about all this.
Danny Kirsch, head of options at Piper Sandler. Danny, I don't want to spend too much on the Michigan game, okay? But we got a quarterback. I don't like to put a lot of emphasis on early season games. We got to beat Nebraska on Saturday. I mean, that's a big game for us to make the college football playoffs. But how are things with you, Danny? Last time you were on, man, you made some fantastic calls talking about stocks. But we're going to go a little bit broader here today.
Yeah, so we have the Fed this week. I think it's Wednesday, the 17th. It's market's pricing in 25 bips, and it seems like there's a lot of excitement about a lot more cuts coming. I think it's very like a weird market where it's like bad data is good for the market. Like we even have a chart of like the S&P is sort of moving in line with the unemployment rate, meaning the unemployment rate goes up and the market goes up, and that's just a function of how top heavy everything is right now. My guess is that based on the fact that the S&P is at all-time highs, volatility super low, rates have rallied a ton. If this comes off at all hawkish, I think market sells off. Like the rate, there's just been this massive just rate rally on horrible news, and it's just like the fact that there's a million less jobs, unemployment rates ticking up. I guess inflation data is somewhat high, but that's less relevant. But it seems like a slowdown. We're in the midst of a slowdown that the market isn't really taking into account, and so we just kind of keep going up. And right now, the path of least resistance is higher until something changes, and perhaps something changes on Wednesday.
All right, last time you were on, you were pretty bullish, and you were looking at some of the options markets. So we talked about some individual stocks. You were bearish of individual stocks here, but this is probably could have done better bringing this up here. But let's go right to it. Let's talk about the Fed here. What you see, what's implied in the SPX, and options are cheap again. But can anyone, if you're hawkish, what are you looking at?
So I think there's two things you could do. One, you could just buy like an S&P put. I think if it's hawkish, S&P sells off. Two, you can buy a put on TLT. That's like the 20-year plus bond ETF that over the last 10 days has rallied. Let me see here. One second. It's rallied 3.5%. Most of that's the last few days. And that's following the CPI. That's following some weak employment data. Again, if Powell pushes back at all on this like disinflation, deflation, slowdown narrative, or basically suggests the Fed won't be as accommodating as the market is expecting, you're going to get TLT will sell off. It's right now around 90. The 89 put costs like 10 cents for this week. So again, it's like inexpensive to like hedge these things out. And that's kind of what we're advising clients. It's like there's not a ton of events happening, and typically September has been seasonally weak. So far, that hasn't been the case. And again, there's not really much priced in relative to how much the market moves off these events. So this is like a good opportunity, we think, to have short dated hedges just in case things get a little hawkish, a little negative, a little surprising to the downside, and you could fade a little bit of this euphoria and not spend a lot of money to be hedged for a specific event, because we always look for catalysts, like, and this could be a negative catalyst.
Okay, so like we know what's going to come out. We know they're going to cut a quarter, so he's going to go to the podium. And what are your AI keywords that you're looking for when he's talking? Like, I mean, what could he say? Because people are thinking quarter, just keep on going. Some people saying, oh, just go a half now and get it over with. What kind of terms, what kind of tone are you looking for?
He said something along the lines of he doesn't feel that they're restrictive right now, or restrictive enough. That would be obviously very hawkish. Or if he said something along like we're taking it, this is just one cut. This doesn't necessarily mean anything as far as future cuts coming. But right now we feel like they need to adjust policy because they're going to cut it. They're going to cut 25 bips, but if they say anything about how they feel the neutral rate should be higher, because right now I think they're penciling at 3%. If they think it should be a little bit higher than that, or if real GDP is going to grow faster than they expect, again, all of these things sort of come into effect, or we don't know the impacts of tariffs. So anything that sort of suggests that this like basically it seems like the market is saying 4.4% unemployment is as high as we're going to get. Fed is just going to start easing into that while we're at all-time highs. So, obviously just be long. And I think if he pushes back, if he's afraid of basically being Arthur Burns, where he's cutting when inflation hasn't really come in, and then that creates like some big issues. And the other thing I would look at is if he starts cutting and obviously the 2-year rallies, but you get the 10-year plus selling off, that would say the market's saying he's making a mistake.
Before we go to individual stocks, are you worried about the breadth here? I'm just going to bring this up. Market,
yeah. So this is from our strategy.
AI.
Yeah, this is from our strategy team, and basically just showing that the top 10% stocks, the 10 largest stocks in the S&P now are roughly 40% of the S&P. They're accounting for majority of the return, and part of that is these are the most profitable companies. But again, we are so top heavy. We saw this remember a few months ago around DeepSeek, where you get this one headline and the market sells off 3% on a China AI chatbot. So that to me it just signals how crowded these trades are. And again, volatility low. If there's any sort of negative news on CapEx or negative news on AI, or like the build out isn't going as planned, it's like you could have some pullback. And I think about the news over the week or last week about Oracle earnings. So stock rallies, I think 40% on earnings because
Yeah.
they talk about this huge backlog of deals, and one of those deals, it turns out, is 300 billion committed from ChatGPT or from OpenAI rather over 5 years starting in 2027. Thing is, like, that company is going to make 14 billion in revenue, and they're committing 300 billion over 5 years. So I just think that there's a lot of, being an optimist is great. Like, we last time I was on here, it was like calls are very cheap, be long. Some of this is just kind of like, it's just hopium. Like, it's just insane to me, like, kind of where things are being priced and how much excitement is being priced in. Like they're good for this 300 billion in 5 years, so we're going to put that immediately into Oracle's market cap today. It just seems there's a lot of early pricing into future events, and we'll see how it all plays out. Like, who's to say in 3 years we might not be using GPT? Might just be Gemini. It's like the dominant, um, dominant bot. But we'll see. It's just a lot. There's just a lot of stuff priced in very quickly, without, without the money. The money just isn't there yet.
I mean, it's lots to think about here with AI and the winners and losers. Maybe, obviously Nvidia is an obvious one, but maybe still to be determined to a certain extent. Like, I think, I personally really believe in AI, and I think we're in the early innings for it. But, figuring out who is going to benefit and who is not, Nvidia is an obvious one. But once you start getting outside that, you think like, well, competition is going to be fierce here. There's all kinds of companies trying to profit from this. I mean, how do you navigate who is going to be the real big winners here long term?
So I mean, we still like Google's along, Amazon is along, like the companies that can actually fund this
Yeah.
themselves, like the
Yeah.
Metas, like they have the other business in line that Meta was able to try the metaverse and it just didn't work, and it didn't really impact their. I mean, over stocks at all-time high. So it's like the fact that when you can self-fund, it just makes it a big difference. That's why I'd rather be long like a Mag 7 name that they have other business lines that are already working while they're funding the AI build, which I think makes a ton of sense. Whereas like a name like Oracle, I'm like less, could continue to rally, but I'm less enthused about. And to your point, rather own an Nvidia, rather own a bunch of different semiconductor names. There's a name called Teradyne that does a lot in the robotics and semiconductor
Yes.
side. And like we like that stock. Like or even we can look a little bit down cap, like a name like Semtech. Absolutely, on the hardware side, there's probably a lot more opportunity there as well as these things get built up. And look at a name like American Semi; they do like transistors. Like, these are boring companies that are huge beneficiaries of this build.
So lots of different ways to play it here. Can you talk about Teradyne for a second? Because it's not a stock that we talk about a lot on the show. But this is going to be a huge player here, and it is benefiting from it. Just if you got a little bit more information on Teradyne.
Yeah, so they're a big supply. They're a big supplier of robotics to Amazon, and so what they're working on, and they have their headquarters are near Amazon's headquarters in California. What they're working on is, and this is, if you like follow this stuff at all, is like the actual the robotic hands and having that sense of feel. Like, so when they're moving, basically, if you watch one of their videos on YouTube, it's very cool. Like, moving like a bag of Skittles is much different than moving a pad of paper, right? Just having that touch and that feel. And so they're working on the robotics for like the Amazon factories, but you would think the use case will explode from there. They have a huge contract with Amazon, and we think that will continue to grow and the stock will continue to rally. And you could see that in their last earnings when it rallied a lot. It's come off a little bit since then, but I think a name like this that's like very far ahead on the robotics side will continue to work.
Do you?
Go ahead, Dan.
One of their big suppliers though is obviously Nvidia. To your point earlier.
Yeah. Do you look like it's so hard when you look at these companies here and you see valuations and you see stuff 40, 50 times earnings, and to your point, being frothy here. Are some of these companies going to definitely grow into these multiples though? Like, is there going to be the winners that do you look at some of these and say, well, this company's 40 times earnings, but its growth rate is projected out so far that, this is, actually a reasonable valuation, much like Nvidia was 2 years ago when we started talking about it, early 2024, it was looking at 120 times earnings, but when you were projecting it out, the stock was a lot cheaper than that. So how often do you look at the forward multiples and the estimates more so than where we're currently trading? Like, is it?
I mean,
Obviously
Nvidia is still a 40 multiple name. I mean, it doesn't. I think that there's like, if you're looking for shorts, like these are just like, that's the thing. It's like, if you want to short these names, like we look at like just broader S&P hedges or Qs, or if you just do that because they're such a big weight, like they're much easier shorts out there that have much higher multiples, like a name like Carvana. If you wanted to buy puts on something that can be cut in half, something like that. Like I think like these names is like less obvious if you want to, you could try to short these around earnings, or maybe there's like the excitement, the build out won't happen as fast. But I'd rather just use broader ETFs like an SMH and Qs, SPY. Again, if there's a specific event like this week, there is the FOMC. I think like, yeah, valuates, like a client gave me a hard time because I like mentioned something along, he was thinking Tesla's along because of Optimus, or I think it's the name, but Optimus, like their new robot, and that's what they really want to build out, and they're a robots company. And I was like, and full self-driving cars, and I was like, well, isn't that kind of priced in? Uber's a $200 billion market cap, Tesla's 1.2 trillion. It looks like it's already priced in. All of these things happen. He's like, don't tell me about valuation. That doesn't work. And I like thought that. And in the meantime, Tesla's up 8% today.
Yeah.
So I think like playing that game is tricky. I'd rather if you're bearish on a name that you like that you still own the underlying, write a call or buy some, like, again, ETF and index hedges are so cheap right now that I'd rather just do that, because if these names are impaired, the whole market's going down anyway. So you can just buy Qs or S&P put spreads, and that's what this chart is just showing, the rolling cost of an S&P put spread. One thing I wanted to flag though, for today, for this week, do you know if FedEx is reporting earnings, which I think ties into a lot of what we're sort of discussing?
Yeah.
And FedEx reports the 18th after the close. We think options are cheap for earnings, like relative to how much it moves. Now, this is like a 12 multiple name, but who cares if they miss earnings? The last 4 reports down 50%, flat, down 6.5%, down 3.5%. It's implying roughly a 7% move, but it's had multiple moves over 10% the last 6 reports. We think it's going to miss. We like put spreads for this week.
Wow.
Part of the reason we think it could be challenged is this de minimis ruling that went into place at the end of August. So this is basically companies that sold stuff worth less than $800 didn't have to pay a tariff. That went away at the end of August. So we think FedEx specifically would be negatively impacted by this ruling, and we'll see. It feels like them and UPS blow up on earnings all the time.
Yeah.
So we've been looking at puts for FedEx earnings. And maybe they could be, but that this name seemingly to me like similar, like we last time I was on, we talked about some of those fast casual restaurants.
Yeah, I was
And
just going to bring that up.
It seemed kind of obvious that
What do you do now?
That one.
Oh.
Yeah, it seemed like kind of obviously they blow up, but like this seems sort of the same situation. Things haven't gotten better for FedEx over the last few months. They've gotten worse. I don't know why like you'd fight this. And it also isn't in that AI bucket. It's in the transportation logistics bucket. That's like just thinking out loud, like who is the biggest loser from tariffs, like a company like this? And maybe it could be, but I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of negative news, and it's not like this stock is expensive, will be expensive. It trades at a 12 multiplier. But I think this is an area where you're going to see people worried about the guidance and worried about future earnings.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, especially in the market environment that you're in. This is, this is a buy everything market, and this stock is I'm looking at UPS. That's approaching its COVID low at 82, and then I'm looking at Federal Express. That's has some work to do to get back to that got under $100 in COVID low. But we've been on the line with Danny Kirsch. He is head of options at Piper Sandler. He's going to be coming on with these monthly segments, and we really enjoy it. A lot of great stuff here, Danny. And I don't say this a lot on the show, but go Blue.
Yeah, go Blue. And go Lions.
Thanks, Danny.
Go Lions, too.
Lions,
That's right. He's
baby.
a Michigan man. Yeah, Dennis has a presentation today that he's all dressed up for.
I'm all dressed up. I'm wearing Lions for the presentation for sure.
Thanks, Danny. Dennis, one thing you said in the pre-market show was we're not up enough. We're not up enough.
Oh, the SPY is not up enough for what's happening. Look at Tesla's up 8%. Keeps us almost near its highs for the pre-market session here. Yeah, there's certain stocks that are going to roll over here, though. And I still say, I know Amazon's leaked a little bit here since I started talking about it. I think that continues to leak. Oracle continues to rally here. So you're getting separation here happening here. I think people are starting to realize that the Oracle dip, I think it is a buying opportunity. I know it's hard. And, there's great commentary from the chat here. talking, it's plan B, talking about, internet, comparing it to the AI theme. I mean, let's just do that comparison. Let's just jump in there, because think about the internet stocks. And I can remember like sitting, in my dorm room in 1995, because I can date it because I know I started university in 1995. And I can remember because I followed stock market back then too. And I can remember arguing, with different people, and, being right or wrong wasn't the point. But, people saying my dad is, big, he was a big finance guy, and he thinks stocks are going to crash. He's like, all these internet stocks are way overvalued. He's thinking, and this was when NASDAQ was 1,200, and this was 1995. The stocks went up for another 5 years after that, before he was right. The guy ended up being right. The internet stocks probably were all over bubble, and a lot of them went to zero. But it went up for another 5 years, and NASDAQ went to 5,100 before eventually crashing down to 1,100. So it's the most important question, and nobody has the answer to it. What inning are we in? Are we in 1995 comparing? Because AI to the internet is very comparable. It's going to change the world. Internet changed the world. AI is going to change the world. Are we in 1995? Or are we in 1997? Are we in 1999? Or are we in March of 2000 when it's all going to crash and burn? I think we're a lot earlier than that. I don't think if we think of the signs, Joel, and you remember when we were sitting in that Bright Trading office in 1999, and you just had stocks people don't even realize, man. Amazon would go up 20% every day. Every day. This is not that. We are not. People didn't trade then. But do you remember sitting there, Todd beside us? Todd sitting beside me, and he would just buy Amazon on every single dip, and he'd make 20% on it every single day. It would range 20% on no new. Not joking, folks. Look back to the charts. You think, oh, these are big moves, 1% up today on Amazon. This is not what we were in. There was 20% moves on major companies all the time. All the time. And Amazon wasn't a major company then, but, it became a major company. But there was 20% moves here, there, everywhere. And it was just crazy. I can remember I was full-time trader in 1999, 2000, and the bubble burst was unbelievable to watch happen. It does not feel like that to me. It does not feel like we are in March of 2000 and this is all going to come crumbling down. It is in certain stocks. There's always bubbles in certain stocks. Certain stocks, but when you start looking at the market as a whole and you say, yeah, valuations are stretched on S&P, but there's lots of stocks that aren't stretched too. It just doesn't feel like 1999, 2000 to me. It feels earlier than that. So I wouldn't be surprised if the AI bubble, if you want to call it that at this point in time, continues to inflate here. And I'm not going to be. The hardest thing is trying to call the top. Think about, my buddy's dad that was in finance, and he's trying to call the top in 1995. And I'm sure he's kept trying to call the top in 1996, 1997, 1998, 1999, 2000, until I finally got right and said, I told you so in March of 2000. And, it was 1,200, and it came all the way back down to where he was. So he ended up being right. But it was a lot of losses and a lot of missed opportunities in there too. It's a hard business calling tops. So, and you know what? I think we'll have more signs. And it could just come up out of the blue. But you know what? When they sell off, they give you bounces afterwards too. So we could be like, man, this is different this time. Then maybe, I think you get an opportunity. I don't think it just crashes 30% one day where we just don't think. Remember, we got circuit breakers. We have this insane buy the dip mentality here. So just painting it all out here, I don't think, and we don't know anything, but I don't think it's going to happen just like that. And I don't feel like we're in 1999. I feel like we're in 1996. And Gene Munster thinks we're in 1993 because he's just talking we might be in the first inning for this. So if you're going to think about, humanoids coming and doing stuff and, we haven't even seen any of that yet. So getting bearish now, you might be too early.
Triple D, a great little segment there to wrap up pre-market prep here to start this week. But first, want to say thanks to our sponsor, Hive Digital. Hive Digital is this show brought to you by Hive Digital Technologies, a global leader in green power data centers for Bitcoin mining, high performance computing, and AI, operating with nearly 0.5 gigawatt of renewable energy. Hive is on track to capture 3% of the world's Bitcoin production by the end of this year. Scan the QR code in the bottom right corner of the screen. to visit the link in the description to learn more about Hive. Folks, we're going to go over to stocktradernetwork.com. We're going to get you ready for the open. And I think that wraps it up here on Monday's edition of Pre-Market Prep. We'll see y'all